Our feature today for Performer Spotlight, and let's get to know somebody else. This is fun.
All right, let's check in with our own Michael Reist. Performer Spotlight.
Hi there, my name is Michael Reist. I live in Annville, PA, which is right between Hershey and Lebanon, PA, if you're familiar with Pennsylvania geography. I was married for 33 years to my first wife, Alice, until she passed away a number of years ago. But I was blessed with 3 daughters, Aisha, Shabana, and Miriam. Now, they don't look like this anymore because this is a pretty old picture, but that's a picture I had of all of them together. And I was fortunate enough to meet Kathy, my current wife. You see her right there in the picture. And on this side we have Jermicki and Alexa, my 2 oldest grandchildren. Here we have little Salinas, my youngest grandchild. Here is Mela, a friend. And on this side are my other 3 grandchildren. We have Anjay, Natalia, and Javion. And ladies and gentlemen, that is my family of which I have been blessed. Now, besides being a full-time Lutheran pastor, I, of course, am a magician. And Steve asked me to tell me what kind of shows and what kind of performer I am. Well, I would describe myself as a family performer. Those of you who are familiar with Cadabra, I fit right there in that mix. I do all types of family shows, libraries, schools, daycares, birthday parties, family picnics, you name it. I do it, all in the realm of family entertainment. But also because I'm a Lutheran pastor, I do quite a bit of church shows and church ministry as well with my magic and the puppets. Steve asked me to list or name all the Axtell products I own. Well, the list is too extensive to name. I am sending Steve a list. I don't know if he'll show that, but too many. But I did want to show you a few of my products. Now, the first one I'm going to show you is the only non-Axtell product you're going to see today. That's my sheepdog, and that's what got me started into puppetry, and it's still probably the puppet I use the most. Next, you'll see my Sebastian the Serpent from Axtell. My little book, I use both of them extensively. I have the hoot owl and I have the sloth. I have the turtle. I use that a lot, and I'll explain that later. Here is the orangutan, the lion, the chimpanzee, and I own many, many others, and I love Axtell puppets. Thank you, Steve, for all your hard work. Hi, Steve asked me to share a story about something funny or significant that happened during a show. So I'm actually going to share 2 stories. The first is with this little guy, Sherlock Bones. I was doing a show for kids and I had this one kid being obnoxious as kids can be, saying, "That's only a puppet, that's only a puppet, that's only a puppet." And I said, "I know it's a puppet and you know it's a puppet, but Mr. Sherlock here, he doesn't know he's a puppet." Now, the funny thing is, as the routine went on, and I put the blindfold on Sherlock later in the routine, and then he slips the blindfold up a little bit so he can see, the same kid who was being obnoxious was now standing up screaming, Mr. Mike, he's peeking! And that was one funny incident. And now this one is not funny, but significant. I'm a Lutheran pastor, but when I do shows at nursing homes, I don't want to talk about God because it's secular, but I wanted to do something meaningful for the residents. So I used the story of the tortoise and the hare and how Tulpy the turtle beat the tortoise and won the medal, and how sometimes in life maybe we don't move as fast as we used to, but if we go slow and steady, we are still valuable and can win that race. And I have residents come up and hug me and cry and tell me how much the show meant to them, especially that story. I was asked to share a nightmare that happened at a show. And this could have been a nightmare, but luckily it had a happy ending. I was doing a show for children with disabilities and challenges, and most of them wanted to volunteer, so I called this one volunteer up. He was a young man, very big, big, probably about 6 foot, 320 pounds. And he had a great time doing the routine, and at the end of the routine, as I'm standing there saying, "Let's give Ryan a great big hand," he comes running, his arms outstretched, saying, "I love you, Mr. Mike." He leaps in the air on top of me, hugging me. I go down like a sack of potatoes with him on top of me. The teachers of the children are horrified. They come running up. I get up. I'm okay. He gets up. I give him a hug. I hold his hand and say, once again, let's give him a great big hand. And everything ended well, but it could have been a disaster. He could have been hurt. I could have been hurt. But a nightmare just turned into one of those memories you'll never forget. My goals as a performer. Number one, I think I share some of the same goals that many performers share. Number one is to always continue to improve, always get better and better. But my number one goal is to always put smile on people's faces. I had somebody once come up to me as a pastor and with all my degrees and say, "Pastor Mike, don't you feel silly doing shows for kids with all your degrees and being a pastor?" And I turned to that lady and I said, "Judy, if I die and all they can put on my tombstone is, 'He made a child laugh,' I can live and die with that. I just want to keep making people smile."
Thank you for joining us for another edition of Performer Spot. Come on, everybody. Give it up for Michael Reist.